Welcome back to another episode of the Tiger's Den. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about probably the character that was hit the hardest from the banned and suspended list, and that would be Viserai. Poor Viserai. They massacred my boy. Gonna pour one out for the homie tonight. So for those who are not aware, they have suspended the Scalata until Viserai reaches Living Legend. Obviously, the reason is Sonata Arcanics, because you build up enough rune chants, you basically get this for free, and you have the ability to draw 5-6 cards off of this one card. And if this is an arsenal, you go from 4 cards to 10 cards. And it gets ridiculous from there. Now, obviously, that wasn't originally, I assume, an unintended consequence of this card, but it is what it is. So the OTK, or one turn kill plan, is off the table now. So how do players move forward with Viserai for the Pro Tour? Well, they still have powerful cards like Mordred Tide, Runeblood Incantation, Revel in Ruinblood, which is by far bonkers, and Swarming Gloomveil. They got it. And those were all cards, except for Mordred Tide, from Everfest. So that's a huge swath of cards that are still very powerful. Where the OTK plan really helped was into Guardian. They couldn't nickel and dime a Guardian player to death. It was going to take, let me just drop it all on you right now. So even still, because Awakening was removed, and because there are less 3 blocks in elemental flavors, the matchup has, from what I understand from several players, gotten better. The problem is that the matchup against Chain is worse. So how do players adapt? What are they going to have to do to adapt into a different metagame? Well, in an aggro format, if it's more aggressive, which means we get more chains, we get more briars, etc., we're going to have to lean into more of their new cards. Obviously, Shrill is getting played in all Ruin Blades. The red version, however, is getting less play than the blue version. It's really easy to turn this one on in Chain. It takes a little more work to turn it on in Viserai and Briar, but it is doable. The cards that I think are going to be important for Viserai, particularly into the Guardian matchups and even potentially the Chain matchup, are going to be the suite of cards that potentially can discard cards from the opponent's hand. So Consuming Volition and Reek of Corruption are going to be very important to try to strip cards from the opponent's hand and force them to discard more than they might want to discard. Do I block it out? Do I take the damage and discard a card of my choice? There's options there that are not good on either side, very similar to some of the ice cards that Starvo, Oldham, Lexi push onto you, making you make difficult decisions throughout a match. I don't know if there's an aggro version of this deck out there. I did hear that Matt Rogers believes that the Viserai players, the ones that have been on him for a long time, will find ways to poke holes in the metagame. But that is yet to be seen. Alright, so that's all for tonight's episode. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the other previous pillar of the format. That would be Prism. And Prism is one that did not have any cards banned or suspended, but because of the weakening of Starvo, the weakening of Viserai, it has, or could potentially mean that we're going to see more aggressive decks, and more aggressive decks are not good for Prism. So, see you tomorrow night. Until then, there is no escape from the Tiger.